G'day, guys. Welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the Round 9 review. Hope you've had a wonderful week so far. Look, I really don't know where to start this one. I should probably start with the title that I've got up there, Up and About Again. So thank you so much from the absolute bottom of my heart to anyone that's reached out, sent a message, a DM, a comment, a post on YouTube, on X. It just means the absolute world to me. I haven't got to all of them yet. Believe me, I have seen most of them. This is actually the third time I've tried to record this video. The last couple of times I actually started going through the comments and I legit started tearing up. I'm proud enough to say that, I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I thought, no, I'm just going to cut it now. It's too embarrassing, right? I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to get through this one. Don't get too emotional with all the thank yous. I'm actually going to leave that to a completely different video. I'm going to do a special thank you video because, as I said, I'm not going to say it over and over and over, but it does mean absolutely everything to myself and the family, to anyone that has reached out during this tough time we've had in the past couple of weeks. And it really does go to show what a fantastic community that I'm part of here. It's just phenomenal, and it really does mean words can't describe it, guys. But it just occurred to me, actually, if you don't follow me on X, I do most of my posting, most of my socials and communication on X these days. So if you don't follow me on X, you may not know what's sort of been going on the last couple of weeks. So very quickly, in a nutshell, I almost need a list to remember this. So start off with having a laptop stolen out of my car, so obviously making it hard to produce content. Then I had my oldest son Nash, bit of a late hit during a footy match, and had a vertebral fracture, and he's basically out for the season now just to keep things safe. So really shattered for the young man there. Then I came down with the flu early last week, got to the point where I literally couldn't get a word out, so couldn't put any videos out. Absolute carnage. But the worst thing out of anything was, again, early last week, little Riv, my little fella, so he's only 18, 19 months old now. We had to call the ambos over. If you're a parent, you've had to do this before, particularly with a little one where they can't really communicate what's wrong and what's happening, then you'll know how heartbreaking it is and how helpless you feel as a parent, just the worst thing in the world. But long story short, he spent 4 or 5 nights, I think it was, in the hospital, very high bloods, lots of stuff going on there. But now he's back at home. He's been back home for a couple of days now, and he's again up and about, out in the backyard today, getting muddy, creating chaos. So that's just, music to our ears, and very much warms our heart, the fact that he's up and about now. But the issue with me was early last week. This is all just, my head's just everywhere at the moment. So early last week, I went into the hospital, which I thought would just be a pretty routine thing. So I went to the GP on Anzac Day, all the way back on Anzac Day. I was knocking down a fence, got a couple of splinters, thought I had them out. Obviously didn't get all the wood out. Fingers sort of blew up, got worse and worse and worse. Ended up going to the GP, ultrasounds, all that sort of stuff. And they basically said, look, just go into the hospital and they'll quickly take it out. It's like a big splinter, all good, nothing too much. So I thought, beautiful. So I booked in, which I thought would be a pretty routine, quick sort of procedure. And long story short, 4 days in the hospital I was. So I didn't obviously know at the time, but I actually had sepsis. So when I went in, they took some bloods originally for just this quick procedure, and then quickly found myself rushed to the emergency and had these things hooked up to me and drips and all that fun sort of stuff, and really didn't know what was going on until I overheard them actually speaking about me. So a little bit scary there, because I did lose a really close mate last year due to sepsis. So a little bit freaky for the family, particularly with, at least from the boys, but A-okay now, which is good. And it was all over, if you can see this finger here. So foreign bodies, as they call it, were inside the finger. I was thinking, not being a really intelligent individual myself, there was some little aliens under the skin somehow here, but foreign bodies, just a very posh way or technical way of saying some wood or stuff that's in there that shouldn't be in there, basically. So end up having that removed after, recovered and got some antibiotics in for the sepsis and that. Still not actually stitched up, so they don't want to stitch it up yet, just in case it gets infected and they have to open up again, So I don't know what's going on under there, but I'm just glad that I'm out of the hospital and the blood's looking all right. But again, very much so appreciative to everyone in the community. A big shout out to my brothers, Jonathan Spills, for taking care of the Swordplay potty last week. Jonathan, to you, brother, mate, it means so much. Again, you wouldn't have seen this. I will post another video on this, as I mentioned, but Janet got a few of the best content creators out there, some of my really, really close mates, to put a get well video together. And I think it went for about 7-8 minutes. in the end. So that really did mean the world to me again, brother. Benny from Insider, another great man, great content creator. Get a text message from him with a $50 Uber Eats voucher. This while Riv was in hospital, saying, look after yourself and the boys, mate, get you something to eat and that type of stuff. I had another legend send me $15 through as a donation towards a new laptop. It's like this sort of stuff just really does mean the world to me, guys. The guys from Herald Sun have reached out. Thank you to you guys. That fantasy community, even Cal sent me a message. I haven't had much to do with Cal or any of the fantasy community, but shout out to you legends. It really does mean a lot to me. And, very competitive fantasy and Supercoach, I know at times. And there's many of us that play both formats, but are generally, towards one side more than the other. But just go to show that, when someone's in need or things aren't going well for someone in the community, that these great people all come together, two organizations come together to reach out and give their support. And that really does mean the world to me again, guys. But I'll stop there because I could literally go on and on for hours. All the great people that have sent me through stuff. Max was going through my ex before. He counted over 300 individual DMs that I have not seen or got to yet. So I promise I'll get to each and every one of those over the next couple of days, guys. That will be my number one mission, apart from obviously looking after the family and all the rest. Words can't describe it. Thank you so much, guys. You are all amazing. But you're here for the Supercoach, so let's get into it. This week, 2404. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I have been feeling like very much a casual type player, and Supercoach has just not been one of my major focuses. And it sort of felt fun at the time, not really caring. It's like, whatever happens, it's all good. But now that I'm up and about again and back on the horse, I sort of think, damn, why not do that? I wasted my 2 boosts. I was just in this no care sort of zone and mode. And now I'm sort of regretting a couple of things, but still not going too bad. I'll show you how I'm going in the Content Creators League for overall points. And after I took a quick look at that before, I thought, look, things aren't actually going as bad as what I thought. But 24.51 for a season rank now, still inside the top 1%. So going okay at the moment. Certainly made a few mistakes, but hoping to rectify those. The buys are coming up. So basically what I'll do for this video is I'll quickly go through the side. As I said, haven't been watching a heap of football lately. We'll then look at the structure of the side. So what am I looking like going into the buys? Remember, they are coming up very, very soon. We'll also look at who we're going to do for captains this week. And more importantly, take a look at the most likely trades that I will make and actually go through the trades that I did make last week. Did use my last boost, which is a little bit unfortunate. But that's it for the intro now, guys. Again, thank you very much for your fantastic support. And I tell you what, a little bit of a clue in regards to my trades. I think this week for me, it could be Bruce time. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so trades from last week. As I mentioned, did use my last boost. So out went Matty Roberts. Originally was planning on keeping him as my M9 D7 swing for the year, but I thought, look, with the break even, if he doesn't perform too well this week, I may be almost forced to trade him out the week after. He's probably done his job. So I sort of switched my way of thinking about the Roberts selection, decided to trade him out at what I thought would be close to his max value in the short term anyway. Again, done a wonderful job for us, Matty Roberts, though. Thank you very much, son. But it was time for him to go. Also lost patience with Tom Power. Just under-delivering for me, giving me scores that the Wilson type players are giving me. So I thought, well, at his price, I might as well just cash him in and we'll get some new blood into the side. And the other bloke I traded out, unfortunate, I'd waited for a good score, just wasn't coming. And he was just the man that had to go. It was Charlie Comben. So bugger you, Charlie. You finally deliver with a nice one, mate. But into the side, you can see Darcy Jones. Not fantastic, but I think he was a pretty much obvious rookie for last week. Bailey Dale into the back line. Again, 2 weeks late there. Should have followed my gut and got him in a couple of weeks ago, but did decide to go him over Stewart, which I'll get to when I go through my buy structure. And Clary. It was Clary time. Again, I had always said to myself, I need 2 weeks minimum of seeing him, or at least the eye test with him. And I suppose the good thing is that I don't think he actually played too bad on the weekend. He got enough of the peel, tackling well. So for me, I think this selection should be okay, but at the price, it was just too good to pass up. And I thought that way I can actually spend up on my last midfielder anyway. So that were my trades from last week. Now let's quickly get into the side. So defense, you had Ryan and Dacos there. Fantastic. Look, Ryan, massive last quarter from him. Very controversial. This was not looking good, but The man just does what he does, it seems like, in every last quarter of every game and end up on a 111. So well done to him. Dacos with 147 against West Coast. We're expecting him to go big. He's just continued on now, and he should really, really be up there with the highest scorers in the game from this point on, I think. Nick Martin, really disappointing. So fantasy score is really nice. Got enough the peel, just back to Nick the Butcher, like we saw in round one. So hopefully this is, again, just another rare occasion. He'll get back on the horse and start to use the football a little bit better. Sheasel, I think this is concerning now. Didn't catch this one, but I'm assuming that, again, he was probably pushed through the midfield and up to the forward line, because looking at Fisher's score and McKercher's score, looks like they had all the backline action. So really worried about Harry. And if I had more trades up my sleeve and if I was maybe at a higher rank, I would actually look to move him on, I think. I hate to say it, but in current role, just don't think he's close to the top defenders. Dale with the 103. So this was pretty nice on debut. As I said, 2 weeks too late on this. Even last week, I was thinking of using a boost to get him in. Decided against it. But I think now with Richards going into that midfield, he was a bit of a slight concern. I just don't think that the Bailey Dale role will change. I know that the week before he was moved to the forward line that last quarter. Crazy Bevo, but hopefully we're okay. I know that he plays Sydney a couple of times, so a little bit concerned about the James Jordan tag, but cross that bridge when we get there. Really happy with the Dale selection at this stage. And then Howes, I think it's probably time to move him on with a 54. Looked really nice a couple of weeks ago, but come back down to earth the next couple. I don't think his break-even is going to be terrible. We'll look at that in a sec, but probably time to look to move him on. And Zach Reed, I heard he did play in the VFL. Do they get him back on the side this week? I'm not too sure, because Essendon obviously had a really nice win. So maybe it's another week in the VFL and hopefully in the AFL side after that. Fingers crossed anyway. Midfield, so Sarong, this has been such a great trade-in for me. Really wish that I'd have started him and followed my gut there, but even so, getting him in 150 and what was it, 130 odd, 140 odd the week before. Super stoked with that. So very, very happy owner. One of the best midfielders in the game, Supercoach wise. Bond took him as a captain with a 135. So gone undelivered again as a VC. But Bond, I think he's close to his best now. He's really getting back to his best. And Bulldogs obviously had a massive win. I know that it was against Richmond. So how much do you take out of this game? I'm not too sure, but all in all, Bond was looking really good for me. Zeret 101. So this is super disappointing, but keep in mind, this is the time that you want him, because the next 2 weeks, who's he got this week? So it's North this week, and then I know he's got a really nice matchup the week after. We'll take a look at that in a little bit as well. But really happy I own him. But the fact that I traded him in for Steele, that's killing me. The move I was looking to make instead that week was power to Dale. So I would have had Dale without that extra price rise, still would have had Steele as well, and probably would have been close to being in a position to get Zeret in this week. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Zaki Butters 147. So absolutely love this bloke. Love the way that he goes about it. And 124.3 for a season average. Hopefully that will just continue to rise. Absolute madman. Congratulations if you had the VC on him. I believe my man Pig Mentality did. Pig, this is why you're one of the best blokes at getting the captain right, mate. And this is why you put out your captaincy video. So make sure you check those out. Well done to you, Pig. Sam Walsh, this just continues to haunt me now. 119. Fine, this is okay, but it was always Jordan Dawson. I've said from the start, Jordan Dawson, and I'm pretty sure that Dawson's outscored him every week. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but spewing on myself. Look, he's not the worst pick in the world, Walsh. I still think he's an okay selection, but when I should have had Jordan Dawson there at a cheaper price, there'd be more money in the bank now. Yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating, but all good, is what it is. Tommy Green with a 116, really bounced back after that 5. Oh, how shocking was that? Didn't even think he was going to get up this week, but then he does, and then goes a 116. So certainly can't complain. I've got a lot of respect for Tommy Green for getting up and actually delivering us a really decent score there. Clary with an 87. So obviously didn't use the football overly well, but got enough of it. As I said, tackling, contested games there. So sort of passing the eye test for me. Best thing is the hand, I think, is feeling okay at the moment. I know very much limited preseason, almost no preseason, you could argue. But remember, this bloke is up there with Supercoach royalty, one of the best scorers of all time. Still got a lot of football left in him. So I'm hoping he can, I won't say get back to his absolute best this year, but if he gets damn close, that is absolutely good enough for me. So fingers crossed Clary goes well. But again, shoot myself in the foot for not going through with the Petrarca move. Again, it was just too much value, I think, in Clary. Darcy Wilson is just continuing to perform. This bloke is absolutely unreal, and I'm not trading him out anytime soon. I'm really happy just holding him there. And what's that, M8 for now, moving up to F6, even F5. I'm happy with Darcy Wilson. So we'll check out his run, but at this stage, just such an obvious on-field option to have. Fantastic there. Damn, I missed out this 105 from Closey. I know that I think about 70% of the top 1% actually had him on field. So definitely some points lost there. And what's really frustrating is when you see Howes with a 54 and you've got someone with the potential that Closey has, stuck there on the bench. So I really need to do something about this spot. That spot's absolutely killing me, I think, at D6 at the moment. But Closey really good. Was a little bit surprised that Graham got dropped. Don't know what happened there, but disappointing for him. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. Garcia really sold with a 65, so he'll continue to make some cash, which is really nice for us. Scoring with a 111. It is what it is. Dog with an 89. I was super disappointed with this because I was expecting, given the fact that Big Shrek was out, it's his time to shine again. Here's another ceiling game coming in a week that some people were taking donuts for sweet, the old sweet donuts that would have tasted extremely sour. Apologies to those people that went with sweet as R2 without any backup. We were really advocating sweet at R2, but you can't see him getting illness, can you? It's just super, super unlucky. So bad luck if you had to cop a donut there, but disappointed with Dogger. In saying that, though, when I look at my forward line, I'll be really happy just to leave him there. And again, this is the reason why we have Dogger. He saved me from a donut this week. So he gave me 89 extra points. Well, not 89, work out whatever it'll be. But it really did save me from a donut there with Sweet. So I suppose I'm thankful for having him, but disappointed at the same time that we just can't see a decent ceiling score. All of a sudden, that average looks so much worse when it's under triple figures, but it is what it is. Sweet, hopefully, should be right for this week. Haney 118, beautiful. Flanders 108, sweet. And here we go. Here we get a little bit dicey with Reed and Fife. Quickly on Darcy now. I was contemplating trading him out last week, but super stoked that I kept on him because a 113, phenomenal from the young man, hitting the scoreboard, contested marks, made me feel a lot better keeping on to him because it was him or Comben. Got rid of Comben, who also played really well, but super stoked with Darcy. And I told you all, for those people in our chat that said, get rid of Sexton. I said, no, I'm holding the faith. They said, get rid of him. I said, nah, this sexy man will come back to save me. And tell you what, an 82 on field, making coin. We know that Atkins is out of the side now, not looking too great. Powell has now done himself a little bit of a doozy with some comments that he's made. So this is tailor-made for Alex Sexton just to slip in here and deliver, hopefully, a decent average or enough to get some nice coin for me. He was looking like a dead rookie. All of a sudden, he is alive. He is alive again. Absolutely beautiful there, the sexy beast. And Jones with a 38. Well, obviously, his lowest game of the year. If you had him on field, unlucky. But again, I think he was the obvious rookie in. Hopefully, performs better. We know that Thomas was a sub. Do they maybe give him the sub vest after saying, well, you've had 3 full games, mate? Have a little bit of a rest. We'll get you back in. Not too sure. Have to see here. But these two are the ones that are concerning me now. So we saw that massive score from Reed. Then Simpson goes, we're going to rest him. Then we've seen 2 absolute duds. Then we saw that career best from Fife, or not career best, sorry, that season best from Fifey. What was it, close to 40 touches? And then we see sub. Then we see this 60 type stuff. I know lots of frees against, lots of handballs. I know terrible by foot. There's reasons for it, but all of a sudden, very, very concerned. Who's more of a keeper? Because I think one may need to go this week. We'll see what happens there, but pretty disappointed. All right, so let's start talking trades and who we're potentially looking to trade out and in. So we'll turn this one on here. Oh, sorry, and what I will do very quickly, and I don't know if this is available to everyone or you need to be the Supercoach Gold subscriber, but you've got the show buys function. So please make sure that you use this over the next couple of days just to set yourself up and see how you're looking coming into the buys because they are really approaching soon. So look around 12. That's a pretty easy one for me. So I've got no Sheasel, but all sweet there. We're missing Tom Green. We're missing Darcy Jones, and we're missing Isaac Heaney. But all in all, no dramas whatsoever there for me. Round 12, I think lots of people be the same there. Round 13, again, friendly. We know that's a really easy buy with Port and Freo. So Luke Ryan will be gone along with Strong and Butters. Easily covered, though. A little bit concerning here. So you're missing one there, but I think that's okay. and then you're just missing that 5. So, yeah, no disasters there. This is the round that is interesting for me, and it's 14. And this is another reason why I didn't actually get Tom Stewart, and I decided to go with Bailey Dale, because I don't know if I can afford another premium in this buy, which maybe stop me from bringing Stewart in, which, again, when you don't think about, and this last couple of weeks I'm talking about boosting and this player out and all the rest, this wasn't in front of my mind. You know, I was thinking I'd have Jack Steele here when I was doing my last buy planning. All of a sudden he's gone, and things can just change in an instant. So all of a sudden I thought I was really prepared. Now I'm not looking great here. So although you're only missing really one primo defender there in Nick Martin, you're now missing 3 in Walsh, Oliver, and Zeret. And lo and behold, these are blokes that have come in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was actually going to target someone from this buy, and it was actually going to be Christian Petrarca. However, I've gone with Walsh over Dawson, I've Zeret instead of Steele, and I've really stuffed myself up with this buy. And that's why Stewart was always in my plans. All of a sudden, I look at this now and I go, damn, can I actually afford to go with Stewart as well? I'm also missing the Gold Coast guys here, so Flanders, Sexton out as well now. You got Gawn missing, so it's just carnage all over the shop there. Not looking good. And then we go to 15, where I'm actually looking okay. Well, you're missing Dacos and Dale there. Dead rookie. Hopefully Reed will be back, though. That's the plan. Wilson, Bond, but that's okay. We can cover hopefully the other guys there. And then rucks and forwards, everything's looking hunky-dory. So round 15 doesn't worry me too much, but it's that round 14 buy that is concerning me. So we'll clear the buys there. That's just to give you a bit of an idea about my thinking as well when I'm looking at who I'm trading in and out. But let's look at the break-even game here. So you've got Howes there. Yeah, high 60s, so that's not fantastic. Hey, it's achievable, it could be. But again, we've seen him deliver a 25 before. So for me, the most important thing is to actually get someone with decent scoring potential and consistent scoring potential down here. Now, we've seen Closey have a couple of down games, but again, he's hit the 100 on multiple occasions and much more reliable than someone like a House. So hopefully I can swing him down there if I don't look to make my final upgrade, which will most likely be Stewart. So Howe's very much an obvious one there. Hawes just dead wood at the moment. Will not get a game. But again, he's just made nothing. So I need to be making cash at the moment when I'm downgrading. So he's just going to stay there, hopefully for a loop when Reed gets back. Reed obviously coming back into the side, not letting go. Sheasel with a 160 plus break even. It could be time, if you're not a believer. Like if he goes 80 again, he's losing bulk cash quickly. So you could get away from the pack there if you want to go a pod move, and I may if I was in that position. Oops, sorry. None of my primos I'm planning on moving here. What's Clary's slope? So that's nice around the 50 mark. Tom Green, massive bet primo. You don't look to move. Oh, this is awesome with Wilson. So very low break even there. Again, you're not moving close. He's down to a 30. 12, 1. So not moving any of these guys. It is actually tough when you haven't got the guys to move on. And that was like Combin last week. To be honest, I didn't want to move him on. His break-in was only in the 50s. Low 50s, I think it was. 53 from memory. But I needed to move on someone, and it was just him. He was sort of next in line, it felt. Not doing anything here. Look at that, negative 71 from Sweet. So he'll come back and smash the coin there, which will be nice. Low from Jones, just got to be no. Flanders, no. Heaney, no. This is low again from Darcy. Look at that, -2 from the sexy man. Love that. That's magnificent. And then we have a look here. So 134 and 150. So you could just go bang, bang. Remember, I don't have a boost at the moment, and I've got 45K. So what areas of the ground do I need to bolster? So I obviously need one more defender here. So I've got 5 primos, 1 defender. I could go there. I need 1 midfielder. However, it seems like all the blokes I want to target, like your Track, your Rao, all have that dodgy buy where I can't buy into at the moment. Can I leave it that long to upgrade? I'm not too sure. You've got blokes like your Rosies that are going to come back really cheap. There will be other options there. It just depends on exactly where I want to go. Do I just wait and jump on a line? One of my boys in there, a Dunkley, a Neil, possibly. So premium spot here, premium spot here. Now, Jackson, I'm going to move back this week, which will be really nice. So Jacko goes back. Go back there, Wacko. We'll get Sweet on. let's just quickly Sexton off. I'll have to think about that, but let's just do that for now. So I do need another ruckman. So, and that's going to be Marshall English. So 1, 2, 3 major ones. And then we come to the forward line. We've got Heaney, Flanders, Jackson, who are going to be 3 keepers for me. And then we've got 3 spots down here. Now, I'm probably going to keep onto one of these blokes just for the rest of the season, unless they completely fall off the rails. But in saying that, look, if you don't trade them this week, by next week, and then they have another bad game, it might be too late. The value's just gone there. So this is a big decision. Do you go with the young buck, the new gen, Harley Reid, who may get another rest, being that young man? The body's going to be very, very sore. Obviously, in his first year of AFL football, but he's an absolute beast. He's confident. Yo's out at the moment. Yeah, I still like him, and I've always viewed him, the last probably month, I've been looking at him as a keeper in my side. Nat Fife, you've got the absolute opposite, don't you? Well, another beast. That's the same. The old beast here. But, sub-risk, risk of being managed, the free kicks against, that high handball count. But then we look a couple of weeks ago, we see that massive game from him. A couple of weeks ago, Reid, massive game from him. They're just very similar in so many ways, but so different in many ways as well. Who do I see more as a keeper, Fife or Reid? Fife probably has more issues he needs to be worried about, doesn't he? Being rested. What's his draw like? All right, so the buys are coming up, which is good. All right, so we'll go season stats. St Kilda, Collingwood, Melbourne. All right, and then he's got the round 13 bye. So he's got 3 more games to the bye, which is the Saints at Marvel, Collingwood at home, and then Melbourne TP is at up north maybe. So 3 more games. He's been sub recently. All right, so I think he gets through these next 3 games. St Kilda, Collingwood, Melbourne. Yeah, okay-ish. Then he comes back after the bye and you hit the Bulldogs, Gold Coast and Sydney, which are 3 really good midfields there. They'll be competitive games, you'll think, and they're around the mark, particularly these 2, where Freo find themselves as well. Then you come into Richmond and Hawthorn, Melbourne, West Coast. So that's a really nice run there. So after by Marvel, home, SCG, home, Tassie, home. They rest him at Tassie. Does he get... could he maybe be a sub against Hawthorn? But 3 games at home here out of 4 is nice. Ugh, it's tough. Reid. All right, so season stats for Harley. He's got Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda, so pretty similar type draws. Okay, so 4 at home in the next month. Okay, so he's got 4 before the bye, and that's Melbourne, Adelaide, Saints, and North. He's got the Saints and North at home. Why do I get the feeling he's just going to dominate those games? Oh, geez, this is tough. All right, so after that, Essendon, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Brisbane Saints. Plays North again, so plays North twice. I'm looking for when he plays West Coast, but he plays for West Coast. I'm going to have to deep dive into that. I won't have the time now because I know that you probably just want to have a look at some trade scenarios. All right. Let's see what we can do here. All right. Now, trading options. Now, I did mention in the intro, if you caught that I think it could be potentially Bruce time. My man Bruce, the cult figure already after 2 games. Now, Brucey Revel, let's have a look. Now, obviously to do this, you need some DPP. Who am I going to trade out? Is it going to be Fife? Is it going to be Reid? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go Reid just for now. This could very much change. So what would happen here is that Wilson would go up there if you want to get a midfielder. could get a rookie here and then go Tom Stewart. So I could do that. So, and just not care about the buys for that week if I really want to go that way or work around it. So if I get Stewart in this week, I could complete my defense and I've got 280K to work with. So, I'm going to make money for next week. That's certainly an option there. The other bloke and his break even will certainly be getting up. Oh, sorry. Someone's Stewart out. Is Dan Houston. So under the ton again, 581. He could be someone I could get in. We'll leave him with 200. So still enough to play with there. Or else I could completely just skip the backs and just get Klausy in there. Clousey. I'm terrible doing a Kelly Underwood here. Lauman Lohman in the commentary tonight. I just won't get on Kelly Underwood, but maybe that just for now. So maybe he can just be a bit of a stopgap. I'm confident enough in Closey to hold down that position. Hopefully Reed comes back as a little bit of a backup if I need. And then I've got 2 midfield slots here. I'll talk about this bloke in a sec, but if I do go my man Brucey, 679, I can get any midfielder that I want. Or else what I can do is just say, go back in there, Wilson. Do I get a forward this week? There's a cheeky option I'm thinking of. I can't believe I'm thinking of him. Maybe to pair him up with my man Brucey. We'll see how we go. But, all right, let's talk a little bit about this man, Bruce Revel, while I've got him on the screen. So, it was a couple of years ago now. I heard the name Bruce Revel for the first time because it's a name that, I don't know, Bruce, it's just one of those funny ones that your ears sort of prick up and you pay attention. It was a game against the Gold Coast. So this in the VFL and the Rezzies, and he bobbed up, and I reckon it was 4 or 5 that he kicked. And I thought, damn, this guy looks really, really nice. Found out he's from Brisbane and, talented type player. Never sort of got a look in his draft year, mature age type player now. I think he's been playing VFL for maybe 3-4 years even, possibly. But he's a type of player that is a real team man, very quiet type personality. He's very much a cult figure already, with the hair, with the dreads, and with the big afro type setup that he's running with this week. But I don't think he's the sort of bloke that necessarily is going to lap up all that attention. I don't think he's a bloke that's overly comfortable with a heap of attention. A quieter type human is Brucey boy. But what I really like about this fella is the fact that, and look, if you look at his fantasy numbers in the VFL, they won't really blow you away. Now, what I like, as I said about Brucey, is the fact that he's a bit of a bits and pieces type man, and he is so versatile. Now, usually in Supercoach, we go away from this because we want players to lock down a particular position more for us. So we've got information as to where they're going to be playing, and then we can make our predictions about how we think they'll score in that particular role. Obviously, you look at someone like a Sheasel at the moment, playing mid-forward as compared to that defensive role. It's like you're working with a different player here. Different role, almost like a different player. So that's the issue when you've got these versatile players like your Brucey boys. Now, with Brucey, why he received so much praise, particularly VFL last year, was due to his versatility. He's the sort of bloke that can play up forward, play on a wing. He can play your half back. Super, super versatile. Wherever you need a little gap filled, Brucey's going to be there to fill that gap. Now, why is that good in this sense? Well, I think it's good because Brisbane, in our current circumstances, are crying out for these hybrid type players like your Kallard Chi, who you saw play a pretty decent game tonight. These are sort of blokes we need because we are just dropping like flies at the moment. Lots of young players in, like your Bruceys. And when I say young, remember, he's got that mature body, which is something that we like when we're selecting these rookies. Those blokes that have been in the gym for a few years and have that stronger physique as compared to 18-year-olds that obviously need to work and build into that and take a few years to actually build into that unless you're an absolute beast, like someone like your Harley Reid who can play against senior bodies quite easily. But with Brucey, versatility is key for Brisbane at the moment because we've seen Bruce already play a little bit down back, a little bit up forward. As we mentioned, can play through the midfield, can play in the wing, and that is what we need. So if you ask me, what position will he play in the senior side? Well, I think he will be a bit of a stopgap type player. He'll start on the bench and then he'll just work into wherever they need him at the time. Unfortunately for Bruce, and this is tough for players, I don't see him getting settled in a particular position at the moment. I could be completely wrong. Fags may be thinking, well, with the injuries that we've got, we know that Dizzy's out, we know that Link's out, all these players are going to be out for a certain amount of time. Let's actually get someone like a Bruce into the team and get him settled in a particular position. That may be the case, but the way that I see it, if his versatility is a big part of his strength, then don't lock him down to one position. Just sort of let him go where he needs to be. Now, with Brucey, I like his decision making. I think he's pretty good by foot as well. I think that his vision is really nice. And if you've watched him the last couple of weeks, particularly that first week, there was one time I reckon he might have been around 80 metres out, and there was a bloke just on his left that not many people would have seen or manning up on, and just a nice little, it wasn't a fake, but just a nice little kick across the body, perfect to him, and you think, yes, this guy's got a bit of a footy IQ. The other thing is he'll be desperate to retain his spot. You know, this guy was an arborist. What's the word? You know, basically worked with meat, like a butcher type operation. You know, he worked hard. You know, did a bit of tradie work, I think it was, and he is just a worker. Brucey is a worker. So the fact that he's been given this opportunity after so many years on our VFL list, he'll want it, and he will not want to let it go. He's a very, very hard worker, quick learner as well. So there are lots of things to like about Bruce at the moment. Now, I see his job security as being pretty good in the short term, mainly because of that versatility. That's the word that you're going to hear me use to describe Brucey all the time. So when we get to the Swordplay potty this week and do the rookie data dump, I will speak a little bit more about Bruce and actually look into his numbers. I haven't really looked into his numbers. This is all pretty much just from the top of the head type stuff, but it will be interesting to actually take a deep dive into them. It'll be interesting to see if they actually match up with what I've sort of seen and what I think about him anyway. Don't get blown away. You won't get blown away by them, I wouldn't say anyway. But look at his numbers this year. I think he's averaging, I'm going to say mid-20s. I think there was one game where it was a little bit lower. Might have even been pulled for half a game with that one. I'm not too sure. It was against North Melbourne or one of those teams. I'm not, can't remember off the top of the head. But yeah, a little bit of info on Brucey. I actually like the man. He's got DPP status. You might like his buy, you might not like his buy. Again, very much team dependent, but you will like his price. Bargain basement, 102,400. Scoring potential may not be off the charts, but I think he's going to be good for a 50 to 60 for us most weeks. That's my hope anyway. So I'm actually on the Brucey Revel train. The other options you've got your Sullivan. I know that Richards played well for Collingwood today, but you'd be going a week early on him. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the other options for the Swordplay potty because I really don't know much without looking into myself. I'm just going through Brucey now because I'm obviously a Brisbane man, and hopefully I can help you a little bit with that selection, give you some basic information about him anyway. So, yeah, very likely that Brucey will come in, but he's got a bit of competition with some other blokes looking also pretty good this week on the rookie front. Now, this is a big decision I've got. Do I get a forward in? Do I get a midfielder in? There's a couple of Brisbane boys that I could look at. I could look at your Josh Dunkleys. Where's he at for average? So if we just look at pure average, he's not going to be too far. So I'm not clicking. He's not going to be too far down the list. So you got there at 13, Lockie Neal at 15. So I don't mind the Brisbane boys on their buy. Tuki's looking good, isn't he? 600K. Do you know what? I'm really going to be tempted to do this. The Zork. Now, I've said, oh yeah, you've got to get him later on the season. Just age, durability is such a massive concern. But I'll tell you what, at his current price, with his next two opponents, this could be the week to get him. I think this could be the week to get him. And one thing that I haven't done is that I just have not bolstered my forward line. I've kept on, it feels like just taking away from my forward line, like the power type selections, getting rid of him. I feel like I just need another one of the big boys in here just to make myself feel a little bit better about my structure, because your fives, your reads, they're just super inconsistent at this stage and they're just not reliable. This bloke, if he's fit, will score in a reliable way. Now, we saw the week before this a bit of a change in role. I don't see that again. I think that they've basically decided, look, this is a man that we need down there We're going to leave in there. We've got some other younger blokes that can assume. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hopefully I edit that one out. Had a bit of a coughing fit. It's where was I? Yeah, hopefully we've got some younger blokes that can assume that sort of hybrid mid forward type role and just leave Zorko down back. Will he receive possibly some attention from opposition teams? Yeah, he may, like from your Jordan types when we come up against Sydney. But I think that the data shows from his scoring in the last sort of 5-6 weeks that he's going to be pretty reliable for us. And he's also got a massive ceiling. Now, let's take a quick look at the Magician here. So we'll take a look at his season stats and we'll take a look at the draw in a sec. So 105.78, 127.96. So last 5 weeks, 116, 130, 56. Remember, complete change in role there. Bang for 160 and then 117. Now, why do I like him this week? Well, first of all, it's a price. So 559 last week up to 566. Now that 56 is going to be completely out of his system. And in his rolling price cycle, we're now looking at a 160 and then a 117. That's the first thing I really like about the pick. And what's his break even? We'll have a look at his break even in a sec. Actually, will I be able to see here? Break even's 45. So this is a week if you're looking at that break even. And then we look at his upcoming opposition. So in the next 2 weeks before the bye, he's got Richmond and then Hawthorn. Tell you what, that's looking pretty nice, particularly this Richmond game at the Gabba. The Zork could absolutely feast. This could be pretty ridiculous. So I'm very keen on these next 2 matchups, Richmond and then Hawthorn. Then if you look after that, he's got the bye. Now, you may say, well, you're only getting him 2 weeks and he's got the bye. Is it really, really worth it? Maybe target around 15 player. At least you're getting 4 games before that. But his bye actually matches up with what I actually want with my bye structure. So that doesn't concern me at all at this stage. You look at the other draw there. So Bulldogs, Saints, Port, Melbourne, Adelaide comes up against West Coast. That Sydney game might be a bit of a concern. And then his old mates, Gold Coast, Saints, GWS, Collingwood, and Essendon. So, look, he scored, what was this, a win, really well on a win, but loss, win, loss. So there's no data to say wins or losses. It's so much better than the other. I like it as a selection because really, which other reliable picks do we have? You've got your Dylan Moore types who really rate Dylan Moore, but again, at 76 after 140, almost like a roller coaster type scenario there. He's a bloke that I don't have a lot of trust with, Zorko, but I think I'm just going to take the plunge now and take a little bit of a risk. Now, we've shared that video already on X. Make sure that you go back and check it out. I'll try to search for it, maybe leave a link if I can. But he's getting these needles at the moment, some acupuncture type stuff from this doctor, and it's just working wonders for him. He reckons he's running like he was back in 2019, which has been the best in a very, very long time. So, look, he's a risky selection, but he's a bloke that could pay off. I don't think his ownership is very high at all in the top 1%, which is another reason why I'm looking to select him. It could burn me. Believe me, if he's very low ownership there and he goes badly and he injures himself early on the game, then I'm absolutely stuffed. But if he goes the opposite and actually has 2 big ceiling games in the next couple of weeks in particular, and then almost puts himself out of price range for those people that are looking to bring in a forward, then I could be a little bit ahead of the curve here. So that's what I'm hoping at the moment with my boy Zorko. So it's a risk, but who else do I like in the forward line? Look at that, Richard's 4th highest average. Dogger I've got. Rankin, geez, he's probably another one that I need to consider. With 142, do you go on Isaac Rankin, 527? Yeah, Zorko season average is a lot finer. Do you know what? I'm really keen actually on getting Charlie Curnow in, one of the Carlton boys, after their bye. I really like the way as well that he actually gets sent behind the ball at times when Vossi just wants to shut up shop for the rest of the quarter, even that's for 3 minutes, or even maybe if they're getting smashed during quarter, just to give them a little bit of stability down there. So yeah, I don't mind one of these 2 blokes, but I'd look to do that after the bye. So yeah, it's looking like Zork's There's no one else, and I'll tell you what, where's Bolton? Where is this fella? I did give people warning in the stock market video, never, ever, ever pay up for this guy, because you know that he's going to give you a couple of floor games in a row, and then he's going to be available at an absolute bargain. And that's exactly what's happened here. I'm not surprised at all to see this with Bolton. So we've seen that run, 119, 133, 129, 67, 36, 59. So what did he peak at? 556, down to 459 already. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Break even 166. Yeah. So they reckon he'll be close to, 420K. And they've got the round 15 buy. That could actually work as well. So you could maybe just get, even next week, not that I'd really want to, but you could even get a really cheap Bolton there if you wanted. But for me, it's my former captain. Now, you may think he's an absolute knob of a human, and you may be correct, but this is a game of Supercoach. And I've had many more dodgy humans in my team, cough, cough, Taron Thomas, than Dane Zorko. So let's get the magician in, and then we'll see how the team's actually looking now. So we're down to 17 trades, 113,000 in the salary cap. All right, so we've now got Ryan, Dacos, Martin, Sheasel, Dale. So one defensive spot here. Close will be the one to come on field there just for now. Yes, Hall. Yep, that's right. I'll just chuck him on. Sarong, Bont, Zeret, Butters, Walsh, all happy there. Green, happy there. Clary, hopefully he'll bounce back. Then we're looking at one on-field spot there. But again, very, very happy to be fielding Darcy Wilson there at the moment. The ruck, so you've got Gorn, and, I've got Sweet at R2 at the moment with that Dogger backup. Really happy with that. Who's Sweet got? Meek. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes this week. But, yep, still really happy to have him there. But, again, we'll need an English or a Marshall type selection after Sweet does his job. Forward line. Now, this is looking so much better for me now. You've got your Heaney, your Flanders, your Zorko, and your Dogger. So 4 really solid selections there, I think. And then you've got your 5, who, again, fingers crossed, who knows what the man could do. Probably too unreliable to say keeper at the moment. But, yeah, may even just try to keep him for the rest of the year. If I can, we'll see what happens there. And then just for now, we've got Darcy or Sexton. So that's fantastic. Having Sexton back is ideal for me. So really happy there. Jones, probably not an on-field option. So you're probably selecting out of one of these two, 5 sub. Something happens with him, then probably Sexton comes on. I'm assuming he continues to get games, at least while Will Powell's out anyway. So remember, this was a role that he was looking to play in the ones at the start of the season. That's where he started. So hopefully he's been given a reprieve, did perform well, and will keep his spot for the upcoming month anyway. So that's the hope there. So, yeah, all of a sudden, I think, looking okay. And with Zorko, I hope that not too many of the top 1% actually trade him in, because I really do want a pod on my side. And that was the other reason why I decided to go Dale as well. Also a bit of a pod in the top 1%. So Dale and Zorko hopefully can carry me to a bit of a decent finish. Fingers crossed if all things go well. So that's it for the trades, guys. And probably 2 more things. I'll go the captain, and then I'll take a quick look at the Content Creators League. So captain didn't go too badly with Bont the other week. So Gold Coast, Geelong, probably not. Okay, Sydney, Carlton, Heaney, Walsh, no. Dacos, do they send like a Benny Keys to him maybe? I'm not too sure. Maybe a Dacos in current form against Adelaide as a VC. Giants and, geez, this is a rivalry, isn't it? I don't know how Bont normally scores against the Giants. Does he step up? I think he steps up. I may be wrong there. Green, maybe. But, yeah, don't really like the opposition matchups for Bont and Green. Zorko against Richmond. Dale, no. Okay, Zorko against Richmond. Would this be enough maybe just to trade in a Dunkley or a Neil for this week? Just chuck the C on him? Possibly. Saints against Freo. I tell you what, it's very hard at the moment to go past this great man in Caleb Sarong as your VC. Okay. We're getting juicy now. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is why I got Zeret. So you've got, but who knows? All right, you got Zeret. So, all right, Sarong I like. I like Sarong in current form. I like Zeret against North Melbourne. I think he's got a pretty fine history against North as well. Port against Hawthorn. I like Butters against Hawthorn. And then Gawn is against West Coast. I like Gawn against West Coast. All right. So this is Saturday. So I could go either of these. So I could go Sarong into Zeret. Zeret into Gawn. This is tough. I tell you what, listen to the third man up for your captaincy advice, as well as the great pig mentality from Dr. Supercoach. Shout out to you, my man. But for now, Butters against Hawthorn, Adelaide Oval. Marvel. All right, I'm going to go Zeret VC at Marvel into Gawn, I think. How'd Darcy Cameron go this week? Because he was rucking against West Coast, wasn't he? Oh, geez, can't spell. Sorry. Darcy Cameron. So what's his last score? 120. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think Gawn's going to be hard to pass up there. He has been disappointing last couple of weeks if you chucked him as a C or VC, but all right, we'll go with that for now, I reckon. So Merritt into Gawn. Obviously, Livingston will come back as the loop there. I've got no real other loops, do I? Because I think everyone's playing, which is not a bad thing. Let's be honest. That's not a bad thing. I won't be able to use Sweet as a loop with Livingston. No. All right, so last thing I'll do, guys, is now when I'm shout out to you, Swizz. You bastard, you beat me this week, mate. Nice score, Swizzler. Well done, mate. So one thing I look to do when I'm sort of comparing myself and how my season's going is I try to compare myself with some of the other great coaches out there. And lots of these blokes I find are involved in my Content Creators League, the blokes that produce a lot of content. So this is sort of the measuring stick for me. And as you can see, in regards to total points, now there's a big gap between the top two and then poor old DR's Rusty Spoons in third. But it sort of does give me, I suppose, more of a glass half full approach to this season. Even though I've made some mistakes and I'm not overly happy, sitting third in this wonderful league at the moment. So I've got obviously the great abs of my brother Janeth. Shout out to this two Swordplay boys here. Sitting up the top, but 173 and 460, Janet. That's unreal, brother. Well done, mate. Just saw that. Didn't even notice that. So big gap there. And then you see me with the 24-5-1. And then we see 24, 26, 27 with Damo, with JD, with the great George. Damon, 2780. So what's the points difference here? 19,364. 19. I'll tell you what, then you go all the way down to Pistol. Brother, shout out to Pistol, 2565 this week. Pistol, like this is, and he won't take this as any offense, Pistol. He was down the dungeons this year, my man, Pete, the Pistol. So, brother, well done to you, mate. Like, congratulations for coming back. I knew you'd do it, man. You're such a good coach. So, all of a sudden, look at this. There's just nothing separating us. But knowing that I'm ahead of some better coaches than me, let's be honest, that sort of leaves me as a bit of a positive. Not that, I want other people to go bad, but just when you're comparing how your season's going. Then you've got my beautiful man, my little goose, Scobie from SC Hub. Shout out to you, mate. Joshy boy from SC Hub as well. JB from Dr. Supercoach. Stevie boy, SDS going well. Then my man, Spilsy. Swizz, Ross from Third Man Up. Dan Frio, Tragic, my boy. Joey from the Centre Bounce, and you've got Mick from Insight, great man. Dubs Clarkey, shout out to you, brother, from the Footy Mailbag. And then Verns, poor Verns, like just his luck this year. I think he had Tom Green as captain for his 5, just like super unlucky to Verns. But yeah, just looking at that, it sort of makes me think, well, look, there's other blokes that are having a bit of a tough year as well. But there is nothing separating some of us here at the moment. And yeah, if you are having a bit of a tough year, don't worry. There is over half the season to go. So, guys, I think I'm going to leave it on that note. Again, thank you so much to anyone in the community that has sent me through a message of support, a donation. You don't ever have to do that sort of stuff, but it does mean the world to me, guys. I'll be back for the Swordplay potty with my brothers, Jonathan Spills. And again, sorry, shout out to anyone that has purchased a Swordplay beanie. I don't know if I mentioned that before, or any type of merch, t-shirt, hoodie. I've not been able to get any out, obviously, during the last week being in hospital, but that will be my first point of order to get all that sort of stuff out. We're having a few issues with the supplies, with the hoodie and the t-shirt, but again, as soon as I'm able to get them out, I will, guys, but have the beanies right here in stock, so we'll be sending them out ASAP to you. Much love. And remember, you are supporting the Royal Children's Hospital whenever you buy a beanie as well. So thank you again, guys, for everything. Much love. Hope you have an awesome week. I'll see you for the Swordplay potty and a big stock market. I'm back this week for the stocky. So really looking forward to that. Much love, much peace. Take care, guys. See you soon next one. Bye.